Good morning. Have you ever noticed that some mornings feel completely different from others? On certain days, you wake up feeling refreshed, energized, and ready to take on the day. But on other mornings, something feels off. You wake up tired. Your stomach feels heavy. You feel bloated before breakfast. Your energy seems low. And somehow, before the day has even started, you already feel behind. Most people assume this is normal. They blame stress. They blame work. They blame age. Or they simply reach for another cup of coffee and move on. But what if one of the most common morning habits is quietly working against your gut health every single day? And what if millions of people are doing it without realizing the impact it may have on their digestion, energy levels, and overall well-being? Today, we're going to talk about the number one morning habit that may be damaging your gut. But before we reveal what it is, there's something important you need to understand. Because if you don't understand how your gut works, you'll never understand why this habit matters. Inside your digestive system lives an entire ecosystem. Not hundreds, not thousands, but trillions of microorganisms. Scientists call this community the gut microbiome. Think of it as a bustling city living inside your body. Every day, these microorganisms are working behind the scenes. They help break down food, support digestion, interact with your immune system, produce important compounds, and even communicate with your brain. Yes, your gut and your brain are constantly talking to each other. This is often referred to as the gut-brain connection, which explains why stress can upset your stomach and why digestive problems can sometimes affect your mood. Your gut is far more important than most people realize. In fact, many researchers now believe that maintaining a healthy gut microbiome is one of the most important factors for long-term health. But here's where things get interesting. The foods you eat don't just feed you. They also feed the bacteria living inside your digestive system. Every meal is a choice, and every choice sends signals throughout your body. Some foods support beneficial bacteria. Other foods may encourage less helpful microbes to thrive. Over time, those choices add up. And that's why your morning routine matters so much. Because the first few hours after waking up often set the tone for the entire day. Most people spend more time choosing their phone wallpaper than thinking about their morning gut health habits. But what if a simple change could make a meaningful difference? Before I reveal the habit, let's talk about a common mistake many people make. Imagine this. You wake up. The alarm goes off. You immediately grab your phone. You check notifications. You scroll through social media. You answer messages. You check the news. Suddenly 20 minutes have passed. You haven't moved. You haven't hydrated. You haven't eaten. And your stress levels are already rising. Sound familiar? You're not alone. Millions of people start their day this way. And while technology itself isn't necessarily the problem, the combination of stress, dehydration, and poor morning choices can create challenges for your body. Now let's add another common habit to the picture. Coffee. Lots of coffee. Now before anyone panics, this is not a video about quitting coffee. Many people enjoy coffee, and research suggests it may even have certain benefits when consumed appropriately. The problem isn't necessarily coffee itself. The problem is what often happens before the coffee. Or more accurately, what doesn't happen. Because this brings us to the number one morning habit that may be damaging your gut. Skipping hydration after waking up. That's right. Not drinking water. It sounds almost too simple. But hear me out. After several hours of sleep, your body naturally wakes up in a mildly dehydrated state. You haven't consumed fluids all night. Yet many people immediately reach for coffee, energy drinks, or sweetened beverages without drinking water first. And over time, this can affect how your body functions. Water plays a critical role in digestion. It helps move food through your digestive system, supports nutrient absorption, and contributes to normal digestive function. When hydration is inadequate, some people may experience digestive discomfort or changes in bowel habits. Now, does drinking one glass of water magically fix every gut problem? Of course not. Health is never that simple. But hydration is one of the foundational habits that many people overlook. And here's what surprised me. When I started paying attention to my own hydration habits, I realized I was doing exactly what millions of others were doing. Wake up, Grab coffee. Start working. Forget water. Hours would pass before I drank a meaningful amount. And I thought nothing of it. Then I decided to change one thing. Every morning, before coffee, before checking my phone, before starting work, I drank a large glass of water. Just water. Nothing fancy. No expensive powders. No miracle ingredients. Just water. What happened next surprised me. Not overnight. Not in one day. But after a couple of weeks, I started noticing something. My mornings felt smoother. My digestion seemed more predictable. And I wasn't reaching for caffeine quite as desperately as before. Now, could other factors have contributed? Absolutely. Health is influenced by many variables. But the change was noticeable enough that it got my attention. And that's when I started researching hydration and digestive health more deeply. What I discovered changed the way I think about morning routines completely. Because hydration is only one piece of the puzzle. There's another morning habit that may be even more damaging. And the surprising part is that most people think it's helping them stay healthy. We'll talk about that next. Now, before the break, I mentioned that hydration isn't the only morning habit affecting your gut. In fact, there's another habit that millions of people believe is healthy. They do it every single morning. Some nutrition experts recommend it. Advertisements promote it. And yet, for many people, it may be quietly contributing to digestive issues, energy crashes, and constant cravings throughout the day. I'm talking about high-sugar breakfasts. Now, before anyone gets upset, let's clarify something. This isn't about demonizing food. It's not about calling certain foods good or bad. It's about understanding how your body responds. Because what matters isn't what a food company calls healthy. What matters is how your body reacts after you eat it. Think about a typical morning. Someone wakes up late. They're in a hurry. They grab a bowl of cereal, maybe a flavored yogurt, a muffin, a pastry, or one of those breakfast bars marketed as healthy. Then they wash it down with a sweet coffee drink. At first, everything seems fine. They feel energized, alert, ready to go. But then something happens. An hour later, they're hungry again. 2 hours later, they're reaching for snacks. By lunchtime, their energy is crashing. And they can't understand why. The reason is surprisingly simple. Many breakfast foods are digested quickly, especially those that contain large amounts of added sugar and refined carbohydrates. This rapid digestion can lead to quick spikes and drops in energy. And while everyone responds differently, many people find themselves trapped in a cycle. Eat, spike, crash, crave, repeat. What shocked me was how often this happened to me. For years, I thought I was making healthy choices. I wasn't eating fast food every morning. I wasn't eating candy. But when I started reading labels, I realized something. Many products marketed as healthy contained more sugar than I expected. And here's the scary part. Most people never check. They trust the packaging, the bright colors, the health claims, the buzzwords. But your gut doesn't care about marketing. Your gut responds to what actually enters your body. So I decided to experiment. Instead of sugary breakfasts, I started eating meals that contained more protein and fiber. Eggs, oats, Greek yogurt, fruit, whole foods. Nothing extreme. Nothing complicated. And the difference was noticeable. Not because I suddenly became a different person, but because I stayed satisfied longer. My cravings decreased, and my mornings felt more stable. But that wasn't the biggest lesson. The biggest lesson came from understanding something called the gut-brain connection. And once you understand this, you'll never look at your morning routine the same way again. Most people think their brain controls everything. But scientists have discovered something fascinating. Your gut and your brain are constantly communicating. In fact, some researchers refer to the gut as the second brain. Not because it thinks, but because it contains an enormous network of nerves that interact with your nervous system. Messages travel back and forth all day. Your gut influences your brain. Your brain influences your gut. It's a two-way conversation, which explains why emotional stress often affects digestion. Have you ever felt nervous before an important event? Maybe before a job interview, a presentation, an exam. What happened to your stomach? Maybe it felt tight. Maybe you lost your appetite. Maybe you felt nauseous. That's the gut-brain connection in action. And here's where things become interesting. Many people start their mornings with stress. Not because something bad happened. Because of their phone. Think about it. The alarm goes off. You grab your phone. Immediately, your brain is flooded with information. Emails. Messages. News headlines. Social media. Notifications. Problems. Deadlines. Comparisons. Stress. And all of this happens before you've even gotten out of bed. Imagine starting every morning by dumping a bucket of chaos directly into your brain. That's essentially what many people are doing. Now, does checking your phone automatically destroy your gut health? Of course not. But chronic stress can influence digestion. And many people are unknowingly increasing their stress levels within minutes of waking up. I realized I was doing exactly this. The first thing I touched every morning wasn't a glass of water. It wasn't breakfast. It wasn't sunlight. It was my phone. And every day started the same way. Information overload. The moment I woke up. So I tried something different. For 1 week, I avoided my phone during the first 30 minutes after waking. No social media. No emails. No news. Nothing. And honestly, the first few days felt weird. Almost uncomfortable. I kept wanting to check notifications. I felt like I was missing something. But then something surprising happened. My mornings felt calmer. My mind felt quieter. And my entire day seemed less rushed. Again, this wasn't magic. But it was enough to make me pay attention. Because sometimes the biggest improvements come from removing small sources of stress. And speaking of stress, there's another morning habit that may be hurting your gut more than people realize. And it's something most people never think about. The way they eat. Not what they eat. How they eat. Let me explain. Imagine sitting down for breakfast. But instead of focusing on the meal, you're scrolling social media, answering messages, watching videos, checking emails, working. Before you know it, the meal is gone. You barely remember eating it. Sound familiar? Many people eat this way every day. Fast, distracted, rushed, automatic. But digestion doesn't begin in your stomach. It begins before the first bite. The smell of food, the sight of food, the anticipation of eating. These signals help prepare your digestive system. But when you're distracted, stressed, and rushing through meals, you're often disconnected from the eating experience entirely. Think about the last meal you truly paid attention to. Not while watching TV. Not while scrolling. Just eating. For many people, it's surprisingly rare. And that's why the next habit we're going to discuss might be the most important one yet. Because it doesn't involve food. It doesn't involve supplements. It doesn't involve expensive products. Yet it may dramatically influence your digestive system every single day. And once I started doing it, I couldn't believe how simple it was. We'll get into that next. So far, we've talked about hydration. We've talked about sugary breakfasts. We've talked about stress and the gut-brain connection. We've talked about distracted eating. But now we're going to discuss something that completely changed my mornings. And the best part? It costs nothing. No supplements. No fancy equipment. No complicated routine. Just a simple habit that most people overlook. Movement. Specifically, moving your body shortly after waking up. Now, before you imagine a 2-hour workout at the gym, that's not what I'm talking about. In fact, the habit that made the biggest difference for me was incredibly simple. Walking. Just walking. For years, my mornings followed the same pattern. Wake up. Check my phone. Drink coffee. Sit down. Work. Hours would pass before I moved my body. And I never questioned it. After all, millions of people live this way. But then I came across something interesting. Your digestive system isn't designed for endless sitting. Movement helps stimulate normal digestive processes. It encourages circulation. It helps wake up the body. And for many people, it can support more comfortable digestion. So I decided to test it. Nothing extreme. Just a short walk every morning. 10 minutes. Sometimes 15. Sometimes 20. No special goal. No fitness challenge. Just movement. And what happened surprised me. My energy improved. Not dramatically overnight, but consistently. I felt more awake, more alert. And strangely enough, my morning cravings seemed less intense. I wasn't constantly looking for something sweet. I wasn't reaching for extra caffeine. My body simply felt more balanced. And the more I looked into it, the more it made sense. For most of human history, people didn't wake up and immediately sit down for 8 hours. Movement was part of daily life. Today, many of us go from bed to chair without doing much in between. And while technology has made life easier, our bodies still benefit from movement. Now here's something most people don't realize. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is momentum. A short walk is enough. A few stretches are enough. Even standing outside in the morning sunlight for a few minutes can make a difference. Because when you move, you're sending a signal to your body. The day has started. Let's wake up. Let's get things moving. And speaking of morning sunlight, this brings us to another habit that may indirectly affect your gut health. Light. More specifically, natural morning light. Most people wake up and immediately expose themselves to artificial light from their phones, tablets, televisions, and computers. But natural sunlight plays an important role in regulating your body's internal clock. Why does that matter? Because your digestive system follows rhythms too. Your body likes consistency. It likes knowing when to wake up, when to eat, when to rest. And when those rhythms become disrupted, other systems can be affected as well. That's why many experts recommend getting natural light exposure early in the day whenever possible. Even a few minutes can help. And here's the fascinating part. Many healthy habits work together. Hydration helps. Movement helps. Sunlight helps. Managing stress helps. Eating balanced meals helps. No single habit changes everything. But together, they can create a completely different experience. And this leads us to the biggest mistake most people make. They're looking for a magic solution, a miracle supplement, a secret food, a special detox, something that fixes everything overnight. But real health rarely works that way. Most improvements come from simple habits repeated consistently. Think about it. What sounds more realistic? A miracle cure that changes your life in one day? Or small improvements that gradually make you feel better over time? The second option isn't as exciting, but it's usually much closer to reality. And that's exactly what I discovered. When I first started improving my morning routine, I expected dramatic changes. I expected to wake up feeling amazing. I expected instant results. That didn't happen. Instead, something much more valuable happened. Small improvements started stacking together. A little less bloating. A little more energy. Slightly fewer cravings. Better digestion. Better mornings. And over time, those small improvements became noticeable. The truth is that most health transformations happen so gradually that you almost don't notice them. Then one day you look back and realize how far you've come. Now, let's quickly review the morning habits we've discussed today. Number 1. Wake up and hydrate before reaching for caffeine. Your body has gone hours without fluids. Give it water first. Number 2. Be careful with high-sugar breakfasts. Many foods marketed as healthy contain more sugar than people realize. Number 3. Reduce unnecessary stress first thing in the morning. Your phone doesn't need your attention the second you open your eyes. Number 4. Slow down while eating. Pay attention to your meals. Avoid turning every breakfast into a distracted activity. Number 5. Move your body. Even a short walk can make a difference. And number 6. Get some natural light exposure whenever possible. Simple habits. Nothing extreme. Nothing expensive. But together, they create a powerful foundation. And here's the most important thing I want you to remember. This video isn't about perfection. You don't need to follow every habit perfectly. You don't need to build the perfect morning routine overnight. Start with one thing. Just one. Maybe it's drinking water first thing in the morning. Maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk. Maybe it's putting your phone away for 30 minutes after waking up. Pick one habit. Do it consistently. Then build from there. Because consistency beats perfection every single time. Most people fail because they try to change everything at once. They create impossible routines. They stay motivated for a week. Then they quit. Don't do that. Focus on progress, not perfection. And remember, your gut doesn't care about what you do once. It responds to what you do consistently. Every morning is a vote for the kind of health you want in the future. 1 glass of water. 1 healthy breakfast. 1 short walk. 1 better decision. Those choices add up. And over time, they can completely change how you feel. So now I have a question for you. Which morning habit do you think is hurting your gut the most? Skipping water? A sugary breakfast? Checking your phone immediately? Or sitting for hours without moving? Let me know in the comments below. I read as many comments as possible, and I'd love to hear about your experience. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more evidence-based health content. And if you're serious about improving your gut health, watch the next video on your screen right now. Because what you learn there may explain why so many people still struggle with bloating, low energy, and digestive issues even when they think they're eating healthy. Thank you for watching. Take care of your gut. And I'll see you in the next video.